Malaysia-Singapore cross-border travel kicks off on the 17th of August. Dozens of Rohingya migrants feared drowned off Langkawi. Thank you for joining us. You're watching News at 10. I'm Cynthia Arthur. After exactly 1 week, Malaysia recorded one fatality today due to COVID-19 infection, taking its death toll to 124 thus far. Health Director General Datuk Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said that 30 new cases were recorded, bringing the cumulative number of positive COVID-19 cases to 8,897. On the 124th death case, 8,743, he said it involved a 63-year-old Malaysian woman with a history of high blood pressure, diabetes and high cholesterol. In a release statement today, Datuk Dr. Noor Hisham said the woman had a fever and cough on the 3rd of July and sought treatment on the 9th of July. She was referred to the Kuching General Hospital on the same day for further treatment and tested positive for COVID-19. Her condition deteriorated and she died on the 26th of July at 12:04 a.m. Apart from that, 173 active cases are still being treated at health facilities across the country. 2 cases are being treated at the intensive care unit, one of which is intubated. Dr. Noor Hisham said 6 more COVID-19 patients have been discharged from hospital, bringing the total number of recoveries to 8,600. The foreign ministers of Malaysia and Singapore today held a historic meeting at the midway point of the Johor Causeway and agreed to resume as early as 17th of August cross-border travel that had been denied since March by the COVID-19 pandemic. The 10-minute meeting between Datuk Seri Syamuddin Tun Hussein and Singapore Foreign Minister Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan is the first physical one to be held after both countries closed their borders to contain the pandemic, starting with Malaysia after it implemented the MCO on the 18th of March. Describing the meeting as one for the history books, Datuk Seri Hishamuddin said the successful discussion that will soon lead to the reopening of the borders can be used as a template for talks with other nations, as well as on matters concerning international travel. He said this meeting was specifically aimed at discussing the Reciprocal Green Lane (RGL) and Periodic Commuting Arrangement (PCA). He also said that standard operating procedure (SOP) compliance and good self-discipline during cross-border travel under the RGL and PCA categories will determine whether the 3rd and 4th categories will be agreed upon as well.
Ini satu petanda yang baik dalam perancangan dan perbincangan kita untuk kategori ketiga dan keempat. Jadi kalau sekiranya ia dapat kita jayakan ini, mudah untuk kita meyakinkan semua pihak bahawa kategori ketiga dan keempat ni yang melibatkan lebih ramai rakyat Singapura dan Malaysia boleh dilaksanakan.
Besides Singapore, Malaysia is also in discussions with Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Brunei and Japan on the implementation of the Green Bubble travel concept. Beginning tomorrow, police will take stern action and arrest and charge anyone who has not taken the second screening test on the 13th day of home quarantine. Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob in a statement said these individuals have been instructed to contact the nearest District Health Office (PKD) to take the second screening test. Beginning 24th of July, the government decided that all Malaysians returning from overseas and foreigners who are entering the country must undergo a compulsory 14-day quarantine at government-designated quarantine stations. They also have to bear the full cost of the quarantine, including the cost of screening tests for COVID-19. This move is the outcome of some individuals returning to the country who violated the standard operating procedure for home quarantine by leaving their homes and going to public places, as well as taking off the wristbands which they have to wear. The senior minister also said that as of today, 839 individuals have returned home through international gates, and all were placed at 6 quarantine stations in Kuala Lumpur, Negeri Sembilan and Johor. They returned from 17 countries, namely Indonesia, Singapore, Vietnam, Brunei, Qatar, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, India, UAE, Japan, Turkey, South Korea, Iran, Bangladesh, China and Australia. Dato Sri Ismail Sabri also said that action was taken against 617 people yesterday for violating the Movement Control Order MCO, including 20 who were remanded while 597 issued compounds. He said among the offences for violating the MCO were pub and nightclub activities and being in crowded areas where social distancing was difficult. On fake news, the senior minister said as of yesterday, 266 investigation papers have been opened, with 172 still under investigation, 30 charged in court, 12 issued warning notices, 13 in the trial process, and 17 pleaded guilty. At the same time, there were 357 denials and clarifications made to the public by the Quick Response Team PRP of the Ministry of Communications and Multimedia, which was formed to help curb the spread of fake news on COVID-19. He also said heightened border security under Ops Benteng was being maintained. The senior minister added that the police conducted 67 roadblocks and inspected 34,224 vehicles yesterday to prevent the entry of illegal immigrants. The police also arrested one foreigner for immigration offences. Meanwhile, at a press conference in Kota Baru today, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri reiterated that the government will re-implement the Movement Control Order MCO if the number of COVID-19 cases climbs to 3 digits. He said if the cases continue to climb, the government would have no choice but to enforce the MCO again, limiting the people's movement.
Program hari ini adalah sebahagian daripada. Hari ini kita lihat kes meningkat dan 4 hari berturut-turut double digit dah. 2 angka. Kita dah lama dah 1 angka ni. Tiba-tiba menjadi 2 angka. Dan dari segi laporan Kementerian Kesihatan ialah kerana kealpaan kita sendiri. Lalai. Kita dah lalai, kita dah lupa dah. Kita dah lupa dah, akhirnya kita langgar SOP yang akhirnya menyebabkan kes ini merebak balik. Dan kita takut kalau dia terus tinggi, meningkat sampai 3 angka, kita terpaksa tutup semula. PKP akan dilaksanakan semula.
Dato Sri Ismail Sabri, who is also the Defence Minister, said this when commenting on the rising number of COVID-19 cases of late. He said the government always monitored the COVID-19 situation and said one of the main causes for the figures returning to double digits was the public's complacency. He added that all citizens should be frontliners by taking care of themselves, their families and communities until the pandemic is over. The senior minister further reminded Muslims returning home for Hari Raya Aidil Adha to comply with the SOPs, including for the sacrificial ritual by adhering to social distancing. The Housing and Local Government Ministry is looking into implementing sanitation operations in public buildings every 6 months or once a year, according to the need to curb the spread of COVID-19 and other epidemics. Minister Zuraida Kamaruddin said for that purpose, the Malaysian Fire and Rescue Department had been instructed to implement a sanitization program and revisit public places that need to be sanitized again as part of the standard operating procedure SOP in the new normal.
Kemungkinan kita hendak impose satu SOP yang mana tiap-tiap bangunan awam ini mungkin kena membuat sanitization setiap 6 bulan ataupun setiap setahun sekali untuk memastikan bahawa tempat itu bersih.
He said this to reporters after officiating the PayU Library and Fire Prevention Awareness Program at the Kampung Baru Salak South Community Hall near the nation's capital today. Apart from that, Zuraida said the local authorities would also play a role in ensuring compliance with the compulsory use of face masks among the public effective 1st of August. On Thursday, Senior Minister Security Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob announced that the use of face masks in crowded public spaces and on public transportation will be made compulsory beginning the 1st of August. He said those who flout this directive can be slapped with a 1,000 ringgit compound notice under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988. The government is not prepared to announce the standard operating procedures SOPs for the operation of entertainment outlets, nightclubs and bars. Housing and Local Government Minister Zuraida Kamaruddin said the SOPs for the sector was in the midst of being fine-tuned.
Pada masa yang sama, sekiranya kita dah siapkan SOP itu, setiap pengusaha-pengusaha hiburan ini harus juga membuat permohonan kepada PBT di kawasan masing-masing. Untuk PBT itu sendiri membuat semakan, cek dan sebagainya untuk pastikan mereka mengikut SOP dengan ketat. Kerana tempat hiburan ni kita mungkin susah nak kawal, jadi kita agak teliti dari segi SOP-nya dan dari segi penguatkuasaannya.
Met by reporters today, she said in the event the premises were operating illegally, then a compound could be imposed on its operators and patrons. An entertainment outlet in Mutiara Damansara, Petaling Jaya, which flouted the Recovery Movement Control Order RMCO, was recently raided by the authorities. It was reported that 310 people were slapped with 1,000 ringgit compound each after they were caught partying at the club. District Police Chief ACP Nik Ezani Muhammad Faisal said police rounded up 310 partygoers, including 110 women and 10 foreign workers, for flouting the RMCO during the raid. Up to 24 undocumented immigrants believed to be ethnic Rohingyas are feared to have drowned at the west coast of the Langkawi Island last night. Kedah and Perlis Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency MMEA Director First Admiral Muhammad Zawawi Abdullah said the Langkawi Maritime Rescue Sub-Coordinator MRSC has deployed their vessel Pelindung 2 to the scene after receiving reports about the incident from police at around 10:30 p.m. In a release statement today, Muhammad Zawawi said the sole survivor, named as Noor Hossain, 27, told police he was the only one among the group who swam safely to shore. Muhammad Zawawi said a search and rescue operation has been initiated with 2 boats and a plane being deployed, involving a search sector of 109 nautical miles of the west coast of the island. He urged the public to contact the Kedah and Perlis Maritime Operations Centre at 04966 2750 if they notice any signs of activity or if more bodies were found. The search area of about 109 nautical square miles is also assisted by MMEA's Augusta Westland AW139 helicopter, along with assistance from the Thai authorities. Coming up, AirAsia sees green shoots upbeat on recovery trajectory. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission MCMC has initiated a public consultation process to gather people's views and perspectives on the development of the National Digital Identity Framework. MCMC, in a statement today, said the feedback received would be vital in helping to develop a framework for the national digital identity that is suitable for Malaysia. The statement said it will also help to strengthen the strategic and directional aspects for the implementation of the national digital identity, especially in ensuring its concept, usage and benefits to individuals, various organizations and industries. National digital identity is an electronic verification of an individual's identity based on biometric characteristics such as fingerprints, face recognition, iris, and demographic information such as names and dates of birth. With the existence of the Digital Identity Service, the verification of user identity from authentic sources enables fast, easy, protected, and secure transactions. In addition, it also has the potential to prevent online forgery and identity fraud, as has been implemented by Estonia, the United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom in conformity with their respective national context. As such, the public are urged to come forth and participate in the public consultation process on the framework. More information on the consultations can be found on the MCMC's website until the 7th of August. As the domestic travel and tourism industry slowly bounces back, the world's best low-cost airline AirAsia says it is experiencing green shoots for a promising recovery after being severely hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. AirAsia.com Chief Executive Officer Karen Chan said although the journey might be tough, the airline company would ramp up efforts accordingly to attract more customers whilst realigning its business priorities from travel to businesses related to local consumption. Since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, Chan said AirAsia has launched businesses such as Our Shop, an e-commerce marketplace, Our Farm, an e-commerce platform to help connect farmers directly with businesses, as well as Our Food, a seamless, fuss-free and affordable solution for customers and restaurateurs. She also said that AirAsia has survived for 18 years in a hyper-competitive industry and became the leader of the low-cost carrier segment by providing the best prices, best ASEAN connectivity and best customer experience. The AirAsia.com CEO added that as AirAsia.com becomes ASEAN's fastest growing travel and lifestyle platform, they anticipate that their airline revenues will gradually stabilize as non-airline revenues become their key growth driver and business priority. That concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, Malaysia-Singapore cross-border travel kicks off 17th of August. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Cynthia Arthur. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.